lastly, I'm going to talk about work as a learning lab. And as I said in the beginning, I always have thought about work as the best learning lab there is out there. I mean, all of the things that trigger us, all of the ways that we can improve, how we run meetings, how we delegate, how we think about responding to different employees, dealing with different styles at work. So how do we use this daily opportunity to be a learning experience for us? And sometimes when we talk about systems, or we talk about all the things that we talk about as learning professionals, I think we forget that as an individual, we are part of the system too, a big part of the system. So I want to talk about, I'm just going to give you a quick story. This is me in New York City. Many years ago, 25 years ago, I remember my dad instilled a love of travel and adventure in me. I'd always wanted to go to New York. I went to New York, never having been there before to take a job. I was so excited about going to New York City. And I had a lot of firsts that week. My first time kind of walking down Fifth Avenue, and I almost had to skip to keep up with all the other New Yorkers. My first time when I was walking down the street and I actually thought it was raining, but it was just the leaky air conditioner above because it was so humid in the summer. And then my first time when I was trying to get back to my apartment and I couldn't figure out that streets actually ran east and west and avenues ran north and south when I was trying to get to 63rd Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. It was rough. And so I actually had to experience how to be a New Yorker on a daily basis. I had to ask a lot of questions. I had to get coaching. I had to meet new people. I had to connect new things with things that I already knew. And I was doing this on a daily basis. And probably now you can Google how to be a New Yorker, but back then you couldn't. And so there was one day when I was running probably down Fifth Avenue. I was walking very fast. And a very nervous looking guy, he was touring Manhattan, came up to me and he's like, I'm trying to get to Grand Central and I can't figure out where it is. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. You just walk 3 blocks east, 2 blocks north. It's on 42nd between Park and Madison. I've become a New Yorker. And I didn't do that by reading, I didn't do that by looking at videos, I just did that by experiencing on a daily basis what it was like to live in New York and to take the subways and to do all the things that we do. And so translating that to work, I do believe that work is a learning lab and our daily experiences are the curriculum. And that we really need to leverage that on a daily basis. Because I think it's really important. And so often, I think that we forget that even though there are tons of frameworks and models and different PowerPoints out there that we can use, ultimately, we are the intervention. So when we walk into a room and we have the conversation, the energy changes. I used to tell my team that you can have the best PowerPoint in the world, but the way you say it, the way you walk into the room, the way you engage the people, you are the best tool there is. And so I think we have to remember that we are the intervention and it's important to take care of ourselves as well. And with that, it's really important, I believe, to also think about going back to the connections. What's our mission? What's our vision? What are our values? And I have done this exercise for most of my life. I've continued to iterate on my own values, although they haven't changed much. But no surprise, my mission is to design systems that help us become better leaders at work and in the world. And I have 4 values: health, adventure, design, and humor. I think there should be more levity in the world. And so I think it's important as individuals, and I always encourage this with my team, that you know who you are, and you know who is walking into that meeting, and you know who is creating that learning experience. And so you have a few extra questions on your handout that you can do at your leisure at home, but to review what your mission is, what your values are, what do you stand for, and how does that connect into where you are at your company? Are there similar values? Are there complementary values? How are you expressing your vision? And one of the things that I think is really important as we think about who we are is that we have the time, and I've heard a lot about this over the last couple of days as well. We create time and what I will call spacing to make sure that we are in touch and grounded with these things as well. And you know, the American Psychological Association did a study the last couple of years. We have so many ways to interrupt our daily tasks with the phone and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and everything else going on. It's said that we change context, we shift context so many times a day, and it's only a few tenths of a second, but it adds up to about 40% of our productive time. So this is significant. And I remember at Twitter, I did a little experiment one day and I wrote about it. And I asked everybody that day, I was like, how are you? And everybody kept saying, oh my God, I'm crazy busy, crazy busy, crazy busy. And we would all be running from one meeting to another because we were all superheroes. We all were really important, and we all had to be in these important meetings. And I used to think that was the definition of a great leader. I would run from one meeting to another until I realized I wasn't grounded as a leader with my team. I was scattered. I wasn't really clear about what my mission was. I wasn't prepared for meetings. And I was just not showing up. I was not the kind of intervention that I wanted to be. And so I redid my calendar. My calendar looks even better than this. But I created what I called green space in my calendar. And every day I would have at least an hour or two of reflection time to make sure that I was thinking more proactively, that I was thinking about our strategy. Our CEO of Twitter used to say, you know, I always had to make time to think around the corner. What's around the corner? Because we're so used to reacting to things versus really proactively responding and thinking more strategically. So I think spacing really makes a difference, and taking care of ourselves as individual leaders is really important. So work as a learning lab is a good context to remember. So we are the intervention. Self-awareness is important, mission and values, and spacing your days. It's okay not to have back-to-back meetings. In fact, it's better. Okay. We just talked about we are the intervention, self-awareness. Okay, so if my dad was able to finish the map, he would have looked a lot like this today. And I think it is our responsibility to strengthen our connections with ourselves, to the organization. It is our responsibility to strengthen those connections with our teams and with each other. And I believe that if we strengthen these connections, we not only will build better organizations, but we will build a better world. Thank you.